throttling you, I guess.
No, not yet. You think so?
I mean,
I
we're
hope not.
on M4 now. I mean, not on the MacBook side, but the M4 is out now.
Yeah, but the
on a real
M1 Max
computer.
still seems so new.
It does.
It-
I mean, what was it,
still seems
2020?
Was it 2020?
2020 was definitely the M1 MacBook Air, I remember. And then maybe 21. But I mean, yeah, it's been 3 years if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty old, but it still seems so capable. It still seems so new, and it still
Yeah.
seems so pointless to upgrade for me personally.
I agree.
Like, and I'm not usually one of those people. I'm usually one of the people that are quick to upgrade. But it's just like
Yeah.
I don't really see a huge difference that it'll make going from this machine to an M3. Not really.
No, yeah, probably not. Like I know, so my brother has an Intel 2017 MacBook Pro.
Sorry.
I know.
Man, you ain't
And
hooked him up yet. What is?
That's what I was thinking. I was
man.
like, I gotta get this guy like a M2 MacBook Airs, the 13-inch ones. They're like $800 right now.
You got your brother using an Intel Mac.
And it was a hand-me-down too from my middle brother, so he's the youngest one. And he was telling me yesterday, he's like, dude, I went to go open up like Outlook because he uses Outlook. It took 5 minutes for it to open. And I was like, yeah, it's time.
What are you doing, man? Like,
we gotta hook the kid up. We gotta hook the kid up. Maybe we'll do something. We'll do something for him. Oh man. But all right, let's turn it back to iOS 18.1 and iPadOS. What are your thoughts on the update? I know it's kind of limited in how they've released it and the feature set, but what do you think?
I mean, it's cool. Like Siri got the upgrade to the visual upgrade finally.
Yeah.
And it is
Animation
weird
stuff.
that only the iPhone 15 Pro gets that.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of odd, but I think the visual look of it is pretty cool. And the fact I like that you can tap the home indicator and start typing to Siri and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Siri's got a nice little upgrade there, so you can also it's able to understand like when you have like when you're talking and you're asking Siri something, you kind of mess up and you're trying to correct yourself. Previously, Siri would go with the last thing you said or the first thing you said and not kind of just ignore everything else when you try to correct it. And now in 18.1, it actually is kind of it knows when you're trying to correct what you were saying, so it's more forgiving in its detection of your voice.
No, yeah, like I saw the example you said. It was it the temperature thing where like you asked the weather from one city and then you're like, oh wait, never mind, what's the temperature in this city, and then it gave you the right one.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
cool. So it's getting a little bit more conversational, organic, I guess. Maybe it's able to understand what's going on, and then obviously there's context rules now or context cues that it can take and understand. That's still a little iffy for me. I don't know.
I know. I don't get that because Siri could have contextual support before, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, it was pretty basic, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess
it was like
improved.
But even then, I think the most for Siri specifically, we'll get into like the writing tools a little bit later. But for Siri specifically, aside from maybe like the catalog of how-tos that Apple kind of put on device or something like that,
Yeah.
it really hasn't changed at all compared
Oh,
to
no. Yeah,
regular
I mean-
17. It's got the sick animation, very cool.
Yeah.
And if you notice with the animation, because previously when you pull up Siri on your phone, the little ball shows up and it basically like you can't interact with the rest of the phone until you leave that.
Uh-huh.
But if you notice with the new animation, you can still interact with the phone's UI behind it.
Dude,
So, like, I
did not notice that.
I was able to like a YouTube video that I was watching while I was asking Siri something. And I did that by accident. I was like, oh, wait, I can still interact with everything, huh? So
That is true. Like you can swipe. I'm swiping on the home screen, and wow, that's a good observation.
with Siri still talking or listening.
See, that's the type of thing the old Jeff would have recognized. Would have picked up. Like it's stuff like little details like that. I feel like my brain is just not sharp
Holding
enough
on to?
anymore. Yeah, it's
getting
like
old,
I would
man.
have
We're getting
definitely
old.
picked that up if it was like 4 years ago. I would have been on that. That would have been like one of the
Yeah.
things I highlighted. Oh, we could still interact with it. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you can do that. It's just like the cognitive. You can just slowly see.
It's the slow decline. That's why we need this new Siri, keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I thought that little piece was cool. But functionally, Siri right now is the same. So I got an email from somebody asking if they should update to 18.1. For right now, hold off. It's really not worth it unless you really want the Siri animation. But yeah,
Oh,
for
no,
right now,
man.
I would say hold off.
I mean, if you're already running the beta, you think they should hold off?
I guess, yeah. If they're already on 18.0 beta, then I guess just jump in because you've already made your decision.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I really want to try out Apple Intelligence early, because
Yeah.
18.1 won't release until like October probably. You know,
Yeah.
maybe
And it's
hold
still
off if you're
missing a
still
lot
in the
of stuff.
17.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
missing everything,
Yeah.
in my
basically.
opinion.
Yeah. Like
You know?
the Siri it's the same assistant that was on 17. It's same functionally, right? It's just you got a new coat of paint, pretty much, and a little bit of different features.
You could still, because I do like the double tap on the little home bar to be able to text Siri, but you were able to text Siri before, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you could type to Siri, but you would have to just actually enable it in accessibility settings, and then it was like either or. Like you either type to Siri or you talk to Siri. Like it wasn't.
Okay.
I don't think you could interchange between the two. Weird thing to me though is that the whole tapping the home indicator, it's so hidden. Like how would any normal person know to do that?
Yeah, no, and they didn't even talk about it. It was just kind of like a feature that started happening. I will say it's easy. Like once you know that you can do it, it's easy to like find it, even though it's not visible. I thought it'd be a little harder from like a thumb placement standpoint, but it knows pretty much every single time that you want to double tap it, which is cool. But like you said, it's so hidden. Like you don't know it's a feature until you do it.
Because I mean, Siri is cool, man. People's phones are going to just be going crazy in this episode.
Hey, we're not saying the greeting. Oh, I guess you can. You don't need to do the greeting, right? Oh,
My
sorry in
phone's
advance,
over
everybody.
here like going nuts. So the other features in 18.1, one of the big ones was the writing tools. Mm-hmm. What'd you think about that?
I thought it was cool. I think it's going to get better over time. I'm a big. I was already using ChatGPT to help proofread stuff and kind of help things sound more professional when sending an email or like the friendly aspect of it. So I was already doing that. So in my opinion, it is a positive thing because it's reducing steps for me to be able to do that. I don't have to like leave it, go to a different application, copy paste, whatever. So I kind of like it. I do think it's going to get better over time because right now the outputs, I guess they aren't great. They're getting right. Maybe I'm mistaken, or depending on what I'm kind of summarizing and things like that. But overall, I like it.
They're decent. Yeah,
They're decent. Yeah.
Is what model is it using? Do you know? Is that using?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I
wonder what it's trained on. Apparently, it's trained on YouTube videos. No, but I mean, there's still, as of right now, there's no ChatGPT integration, right? So it's got to be doing. Is it its own model? Is it its own
maybe
Apple
it's
Intelligence version of it?
I don't know. I don't answer that question. If you know, let us know in the comments because I don't.
Please do.
So that is cool. It's nice that you can access that from basically anywhere, even third-party apps. It's in the copy paste. It too is a little hidden though. Like to me, it's like there should be a better way to do this, but I don't know if there is.
I think if you're in a native Apple app, and this could have been something that was just again 18.1, if you highlight a certain paragraph or text or whatever, on the toolbar of the keyboard, like right above the keyboard, a little Apple AI logo pops up.
Dude, why did I do that? You should be doing my. I'm done.
And this is on an iPad.
Fernando is now the emperor.
Call me Fern Benjamin.
Yeah, call him Fernando Benjamin because this dude is you cooking, man. What? Why am I missing all these things? So you're saying that there is a?
I think so. Let me double check on that.
Yep, you're right. Hold on, no. Yeah, you're right. There's like, oh, I did not even notice that. Wow.
Right?
How
there's
did
like a
I
little.
miss that? It says proofread, rewrite, and then there's the Apple Intelligence icon.
Yeah, that's what it was. There we go. So I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah,
no, I was like summarizing something. I was summarizing something like random, and then I just like highlighted it all, and it worked. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I need to start watching Fernando's videos more because
Yeah, subscribe to the channel. You know.
yeah, really, this is pathetic, man. So I think I did see that Apple Intelligence icon for some reason. Excuse me. For some reason, I just thought, oh, that's just an emoji, like emoji suggestion.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
ignored it. But yeah, duh. So that's a much better way to do that. Yeah. So
Now again, I think it
Cool.
only works in native applications. So if you go off into like something else, I could be wrong.
no, but
But-
here's the thing: I was in native applications when I was testing this, so there's no excuse.
That's funny. But yeah, that's one way to get it going. But then if you're just highlighting something and your keyboard isn't up, then you do have to you have to like press a little right button, pass the formatting. It's like, it is hard to find, you know?
Yeah, well, we have
sure.
a title for this episode, Fernando Benjamin. That's the title. Well, that's just the. I'm writing that down right now.
Just morph us into one. That's funny. But you know, I think the proofread part of it is in my opinion, the best one because it does proofread it nicely from like it fixes all your grammatical errors.
Yeah.
And then the other like the friendly, professional, all the other ones I think still need a little bit of work.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, especially the professional. It just tried to use big words,
Yeah, like
And it's
like
just
big
like-
polite words.
and it repeated the same words, and it was just weird.
Yeah.
So, but again, very much work in progress. This is obviously a beta, and I think it's a very good first step. But there are other things that this beta brought to the table that I thought was really cool. One of my favorite things are the summaries that you get in mail and especially messages. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is, the messages summaries are awesome. Because have you ever got like a,
Messages.
yeah,
Like in your iMessage?
yeah. You don't
Oh,
get that?
I didn't know you
Like
could
on
do
the
that.
lock screen. So when someone sends you a barrage of text messages, it summarizes them in one little box on the lock screen, right?
Okay.
So it's like someone sends you just a whole bunch of random things. It'll summarize that in one like paragraph for you.
Oh, see, I didn't even notice that one. I did notice the new little icon, I guess, that little reply looking thing or forward looking thing. But
Yeah.
I didn't know it was summarized. I guess people aren't sending me long messages like that quite yet.
Yeah, that could be what it is because like
Yeah.
I got a barrage of messages from somebody and it was like a sentence and it basically just outlined everything in that message and I'm like, I
That's
could just quickly
clutch.
look at it. That is so clutch.
Yeah.
And the same thing in email. In the preview of the email, previously it would just show the first 4 lines of whatever the email was, but now it summarizes that. So that's super, super handy.
See, you're back, dude. You're back because I didn't even
I'm
notice
back.
that.
Okay.
I didn't know. I didn't know that it was. I'm looking at an email right now in the mail app, and yeah, I get this like newsletter about like finances, whatever, and yeah, it summarizes it in one line, like what this
Yeah.
person is talking about.
Which
I
is
thought it was still showing the preview, but no, this is a summarized sentence.
Which is much more handy than the preview, right? Because like a lot of
Yeah.
times they'll be like, I hope this message is finding you well, blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I'm like, dude, just tell me what you want, and that's what this does. It'll just, I'm not trying to be rude. I do like when people say that. Actually, it makes me feel good. I hope this message finds you well. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Like I am not well, but thank you. But yeah, so that's a clutch feature to me. Like both of
Yeah.
those, the summaries. And you can also invoke the summary of the entire email in the mail app, within the email as well. So that's cool.
Are you a native Apple Mail app user?
Interesting you asked that because well, I am a native Apple Mail user, and I am also recently a native iCloud domain user. So I moved my 2 domains over from Google Workspace over to iCloud, and I do need to do a
Interesting.
post and video on that because last time I did that, it was people liked it. So, and I also need to do a post on my experience with it. Like, what is it like?
So you have a like an app me or whatever or a .me? What is
No,
it?
it's
iCloud
using-
app.
It's using my actual domain. Remember, you can in iCloud Plus, you can now move your own domains over to iCloud. So it'll be hosted. And the benefit of that is that you get push email, which you didn't get before. So you get instant emails to your domain.
So what is your? I mean, is it jeffbenjamin.com?
Jeff at bnjm.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that instead of living, like you said, on Google, it's now living on iCloud.
Yep. And then
So interesting.
The nice thing is that you, like, if somebody emails you previously, it would just fetch, right? So it would be like every 10 minutes because Google, there's no push support there. There used to be a workaround to that. There's no longer a workaround for that, I don't believe, using Microsoft Exchange or some weird little thing. But now, so when I get an email, I get instantly notified because it's push. It's real push. So that's
is
the
that
benefit.
The only way to get real push notifications from Apple Mail is if you're using an iCloud email, or if you have your domain on the iCloud, or no?
There may be some like active sync workarounds with Microsoft Exchange. It's been so long since that there used to be a way to do that, but to my knowledge, I don't think so. I think it's always fetch, unless you're using like what is Microsoft's Exchange?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that still does that. It may, but I just don't know. But yeah, that's the only way to get like a Gmail or a Google, or not Google. The only way to get like if you were using a Google account or if you had your stuff hosted on Google Workspace, man, the Z-Pack is
the Z-Pack is kicking.
If you had your stuff hosted on Google Workspace, it would just be fetch, basically. So now, since I moved everything over, I get those emails instantly, which, I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's kind of nice to just know, like, when I receive an email, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's cool. Definitely make a video on that, because that sounds like it's super beneficial. Because I'm not a native Apple Mail user. I've re-downloaded it just to play with the summaries stuff, but I use Gmail. Like the app.
Well, the benefit of Gmail is you get instant emails, right?
Yeah,
that's exactly the benefit. Like you wouldn't get that if you had those in the Mail app.
Like I switched to the Mail app very briefly when 18.0 beta came out because I wanted the dark icon, and Gmail hadn't done it yet. But then the moment beta 2 came out, Gmail had the dark icon, and I went right back to Gmail because it was too to even go farther into this update. The Mail update hasn't come out yet. Like the prioritized email, like the prioritized inboxes, which is something they promised with 18.
So the prioritized email I do have.
You do have it?
Yeah, it's there. Like I don't really want to show all my stuff on the screen, right? But I do have a little box at the top that says priority, and then it outlines the priority emails.
Okay, interesting. I don't have that. I wonder. Maybe I just don't get enough important emails.
And most of them are all like, let me tell you what they are actually. Bills, Etsy.
Nice.
That's pretty much it. So, what else was there in
18.1? I mean, it was pretty AI focused, but again, not much of it.
There was the memories thing where you could, in the Photos app, you could put in like and that is sort of AI-ish. I mean, where you could type a string and it would create a video for you based off that string using your content.
Because that's also something, again, I tried it early, but I couldn't get it to work. It kept saying like it was processing my photo library of like 30,000 images, which is crazy. That's another thing. iCloud, like photo management, that's something else we should probably touch on. It's so hard to manage.
I think I mentioned this in an earlier episode, but my goal was to get rid of, like, I want to basically download all my photos. Actually, I did, but I never got to it. And then put them on a Blu-ray or something, and just because my storage is like almost at 2 terabytes. But yeah, like I want to migrate off the iCloud photos.
Yeah. It just takes up so much storage. It ends up being like so much redundant content because like I'll take a picture on my iPhone, but then I'll airdrop it to my iPad, but then PhotoStream uploads like 10 minutes later, so then I have 2 versions of it on my iPad, and it ends up being a mess, you know? So like being able to manage all that, I want people to leave a comment down below if they've been able to like perfect the iCloud management, because that's something that I think is still so complicated for no reason.
Was there anything else that we're missing?
Nothing crazy on 18.1. Again, it was just getting the Apple Intelligence animations going with Siri, kind of starting with the writing tools, which was the writing tools was like the one big thing that came out. But in terms of on-device contextual awareness, like being able to read into third-party apps and all that stuff, it's still not available. You know,
Oh.
it won't pick stuff up like that yet.
One thing we did miss, recording phone calls. It's interesting.
So tell us about it. Tell us about it.
It does what it says it does. You press the button, it says, hey, this call will be recorded, so everyone on the call knows it. And it records it, and then it transcribes it. And actually, it's really cool because it will, in the text transcription, it'll break up the conversation. So it says local speaker, and then remote speaker, and then local speaker. Like it knows who's speaking. You could, of course, tap that and jump right to those conversations. I think it's weird though that it puts it in the Notes app. Like I feel like it's just kind of
that's
weird.
where it ends up.
Yeah, so like when you start a call recording, it like gives you a notification, a Notes app notification. And it's just like, like I get why they're doing it because of the transcription aspect, but it just seemed like that would live within either the voicemail tab or on the phone app somewhere. That part's weird to me. I can't wrap my brain around that decision.
Yeah, no, they definitely should have created like a transcription tab in the phone app, for sure.
Yeah,
similar to how even though Math Notes kind of intertwines with the regular Notes app, like the calculator has like a Math Notes section. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's saved on the calculator app. So
I
they
think
definitely could have gone that route.
Or I could have just missed it, and it's there, and I just I'm like I said, the cognitive decline. True. Yeah. So that's 18.1 in a nutshell, folks. So
again, I will say my phone gets pretty hot now. 18.1 definitely pushes it to its limits. Battery life on my phone, I'm not gonna say it's taken a huge hit, but it's a little worse, as expected. So again, this is a beta 1 for a reason, everybody. Install it at your own risk. If you don't want to put it on your main device, don't do it. But you will be getting some cool animations, the writing tools, and some of the stuff that we mentioned.
Nice.
For sure. Yeah. What else do we have this week?
Yeah. So I'm looking at our show notes. This article from Benjamin Mayo just it was just interesting to me. It's Apple Arcade developers frustrated by long delays in getting paid and no incentives to make Vision Pro games. Interesting.
That's a great headline.
The leading complaints revolved around payments and poor communication channels with their Apple representatives. So apparently, one developer says they have not been paid for 6 months, with other studios chasing month-long delays in getting their bonus pool royalty payments from Apple. So these are, of course, Apple Arcade. First of all, do you use Apple Arcade at all?
I used it pretty heavily last year to play NBA 2K. But I haven't played NBA 2K on my iPad in a while. And then Retro Bowl, which is my favorite iOS game, is on Apple Arcade now.
Okay.
But if I wasn't paying for Apple One, I would not have gone out of my way to pay $5 for Apple Arcade. If that makes any sense.
No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, it's literally only 2 games that I play, or even 1 right now. What about you?
I do not. The only time I really use Apple Arcade is when I'm demonstrating something for a video. And I would not pay for it. I was very bullish on it when it was first announced, but it's just been a big disappointment.
It's really not that bad. I've tried a few of the games and they're okay, but it's not like maybe I'm just not the right demo for it. Like I'm not a big mobile gamer to begin with, even if it is casual gaming. Again, Retro Bowl is the only game that I play because it doesn't require internet to play it. It's a football game. Like I kind of like it. It's very easy. But outside of that, there's a bunch of like cool looking games and well rated games. I'm just not somebody that gravitates towards them to begin with.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it either. I don't think it's necessarily inherently an Apple Arcade issue. I think it's just like you said. First of all, I'm just not a big gamer. Period. Which I used to be back in the day, but I don't know, man. It's like it's
different now, you know?
Yeah, like I feel like there's better things I could be doing right now. Like, every time I game, I feel guilty. Like I'm like, wow, I could be doing something productive. Like this game, I get to level 2. Okay,
then
what does that mean? Like, what tangible benefit is that giving me? And I know life isn't all about like
constantly
optimizing.
Yeah,
it's not all about that, but gaming in particular feels like I feel guilty.
especially like on your phone. You know, if I'm like at my desk when I should be working, and for some reason I pull out my phone and start playing like mobile game for like 30 minutes, then yeah, basically I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But I will say, again, I'm not a big gamer either. Like the last probably 2 or 3 years, I've rarely gamed, but college football coming out on the Xbox and PlayStation. The last 2 weeks, I've been playing like 2 hours a night at least.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I can't even do that, dude. Like, it's just.
But that's more so for the nostalgia and like I'm ready for football season and the game
Yeah.
hasn't been out for 11 years. I'm sure
No, I
it'll
get it.
dwindle. You know,
I
it'll
get it.
dwindle and then I'll stop playing it. But that is my foray into the game. But again, if you are enjoying, if that's like what you want to do to pass your time, go for it. You know.
Yeah, that's not a
Do your
knock
thing.
against gamers at all. It's just
Yeah.
for me personally. Like, I used to be one of the biggest gamers. Like, I
Yeah.
even worked for like a gaming publications and covered them for work. But it's just now it's like, even I have a Nintendo Switch. That's the only console I have.
Yeah.
Mainly, well, there's a lot of reasons why that is, but I won't go into that right now. But even that, like, I don't play it nearly as much as I thought I would, and yeah, so I don't. That's a long way to say I don't think it's an Apple Arcade thing. I just think it's just me in that way. But another thing that was interesting in this article was the Vision Pro comment.
Yeah.
It says one developer with Vision Pro was surprised to learn that even Apple's engineers don't seem to know how the device works. The technical support is awful, the worst I've seen anywhere, they said. They are unable to offer any insights into how the hardware and software it runs on works or how essential middleware is meant to work with it. Wow.
That's a big statement.
That
Yeah.
is,
That's crazy.
that's crazy. And I know it's just one dude off the record, but
Yeah. Like Apple should make this as easy as possible to incentivize developers to make anything for the Vision Pro. You know, as much technical support, as many, hands and eyes and whatever to like help people out in terms of how everything communicates together. Because without the games, without the apps, without the network of applications, the Vision Pro is just going to continue to stay where it is,
that statement makes me want to actually put my Vision Pro on eBay. Like, because
Yeah.
if that's the case, then I mean, if Apple isn't even they don't even have a clear like roadmap, and it's clear
Yeah.
that there's something off there, because it's just like we talked about last episode. It's just kind of hit and miss, these random releases and stuff. It just doesn't feel like there's a strategy there at all. Maybe there is, and we're just not seeing it, but it doesn't. I don't get a lot of confidence from that statement.
Maybe they're taking the. I feel like the approach to this. I mean, hopefully this ends up happening. Is kind of like iPhone-y, where it's like they made this revolutionary product, right? That was kind of hard to understand by a lot of people, especially in the beginning, and developers and everything that goes along with it. And then eventually, it was kind of like, we'll throw the iPhone and see where it goes, see what happens, see who ends up picking it up, see who develops for it, and then eventually it finds its path and then it figures out what to do. Maybe that's what's going to happen, but I don't know.
That's a pretty
I don't know.
optimistic take, man. Pretty optimistic take. I don't
I'm trying
see
to
it
give
that
them the
way.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't see it that way at all. Like, I agree that the iPhone started off slower than a lot of people remember,
Yeah.
but when we saw that device, it was completely clear that this was an absolute game changer for I mean, I don't think anyone denied that aspect of it. Now, but I just don't see the Vision Pro in that same
I guess
same
you're
space.
right. Like I would never say, as cool as the experience of using the Vision Pro is, I would not categorize it as like a game changer. Because as of right now, it's just like a very cool tech toy, like you said, tech demo, and we've spoken about that in the past.
It's not, because if it was a game changer, then I would be using it every day.
Yeah.
I would be using it. I wouldn't let it go weeks without use. So that to me indicates that it's not a game changer at all. And then the fact that there were statements like this out there, that's
Scary. Yeah.
It doesn't.
It worries people.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, what's the future of this thing? Like, yeah, we have the little 4K expansion display. I want to try that, but at this point, I'm like, I might want to just get out while the getting's good.
Yeah. We should get on we need to find like a true day-to-day Vision Pro user that has like no affiliation with Apple and get them on the podcast and talk to them. I would love to see what their use cases are. And also like what industry they're in, what vertical they're in, like how they use it for work and personal, because I kind of want to see. I want to see how people are benefiting from it if they are, and what kind of demo it's benefiting.
Yeah, I don't think this is ever going to be a mass product. Like, I don't even think the VR headsets in general. I mean, is there any VR headset that you could say has mass appeal? I don't think there's any.
I mean, I can only name 2 AR VR headsets right now, and it's Vision Pro and whatever Meta's making. I couldn't even give you the name. The Oculus? Is it still the Oculus? I don't know. And even then, it's not like mass appeal. It's just like, it's like a lesser game console, especially on the Meta side.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's not like you can see the people that are using it. So I'm just like, if people have it, it's like saying, how prolific are VCRs or DVD players or whatever when those were popular, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could kind of see because in hotels they were there and things like that. And I guess even the VCR was more of an obvious thing because they were in places that weren't just homes. Yeah. But with the Vision Pro and any headset, it's just like we don't really know who's using these things. They're all behind closed doors, and it just doesn't seem like this is ever going to be like this. There's too much stigma with this big things attached to your head. And the social aspect, I don't think Apple has solved that. They tried to with the little eyesight thing. That obviously was a failure. And I just don't think this is ever going to be a mass market device until they look like this.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be. It's got to be so easy and so they just got to break down the barrier. And as of right now, like as cool as the tech is right now, it's just not socially ready. And like you said, maybe we'll get to the point where it is, because even back, 15 years ago, we weren't ready for everybody to be walking with their head down on their phone. Like, you should try walking around New York City nowadays, man. It's crazy. Everybody's just walking with their head down.
I know.
For such a loud city, it's quiet out there.
It's sad, man. But yeah, so I don't know. I might actually get rid of this thing, dude. Like, and I hate to do that because there are some things that are cool about it, but again, I just don't have a lot of confidence in it. And every week that goes by that I don't use it, it's less and less confidence. It's just like, why am I letting this multi-$1,000 device just sit there?
Yeah, you can get an M3 Max for that price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what else do we have on the thing that you want to talk about? Anything else?
I guess we can quickly bring up that I wrote an article this week about the Dumb Phone app. Did you hear about that or no?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool concept, so I figured let me write about it. And have you ever heard of the Light Phone, like that company?
I actually did a review on it on 95 Toys. Yeah, and it was actually there's a ton of
which
views.
Version?
Their very first one.
Okay.
Let me see.
I think they're going on to the 3rd one now. I've always been intrigued by the Light Phone. In like a perfect world, like maybe I would use one, right?
Yeah.
But that's essentially what this Dumb Phone app does to your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
At least it kind of like masks it. And it uses a cool combination of shortcuts and widgets to kind of map it, and then also color matching wallpapers. And essentially you download the app. I think it's free to download. It comes with like a 7-day free trial, and then there's like a subscription service for it. But you pick out your favorite 1 through 6 applications that you use on a daily basis. So I have like my phone, my messages, Google Maps, Spotify. Even though it's supposed to help with distraction, I still put X on there because I use it a lot. But those are the apps that I had on there, and then that's the only thing that's going to be on your home screen. I have it the way that I personally have it set up is so I have it on a weekend focus mode. So on the weekend, it does set up like that. And I will say, like because it's monochrome, because you don't have all the applications thrown in your face, there's like a couple extra steps if I want to get to like the YouTube app or something like that. It does make me use my phone less, which I think is the goal of an application like that. But I think that's everything for this week, right? We got some more stuff coming. New iPhones we're kind of almost an iPhone season, basically. We're like a month and a half away from them being announced.
Yep.
So definitely stay tuned. We'll talk about that probably in the next episode for sure. Kind of hone in on some of the rumors we've seen. But yeah, round us off. Take us home, man.
Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our membership, subscribe to our podcast. But only one of those cost. So anyway, but it was good talking to you, man. Good catching up. And we will see you guys next week.
Let's do it. Peace, everybody.